whose interest it has served is the interests, broadly speaking, today of our speculative classes. People who deal in wholesale sums of money find it ever so expedient to borrow at nothing.
Yes.
0% is an excellent funding cost. As to the trusting souls who save dollars and who have them on deposit in what we are pleased to call banks, those trusting souls are the losers. But it's obvious.
Which is essentially the middle class and seniors who had saved up their lives in anticipation of living on their interest income.
Yeah, all those. You know, it is the fact that Wall Street doesn't mind this at all. By this, I mean our present-day arrangements in which there are intermittent crises which necessarily create intermittent opportunities. There are protracted periods, that have been since about 1990, of extremely low funding costs. The yield curve, by which I mean the alignment of interest rates through time, has been generally steep, meaning that short rates are hospitably set below long rates so that one can earn a spread simply by borrowing money at negligible cost to buy longer dated assets yielding something more than nothing. So Wall Street is in this business, and it has done rather well.
Borrowing short, lending long, but that's also the volatility, or the ultimately leads to insolvency.
Well, it leads to insolvency among some, but notice how many are not broke doing this.
So, you know, for every layman, there are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting back to the Federal Reserve, doesn't it also serve the politicians in the sense that there's no discipline on their spending?
Yes,
they know that whatever they want to spend, the Federal Reserve is going to step in and
are quite
do quantitative easing. And
it serves the interest of those who would expand government power. It serves the interest of those who run up great big debts, because note there has been no check on our external borrowing since about Monday morning, August 16, 1971. Even before that, there was really very little check. The gold standard was so eviscerated under Bretton Woods.
Yeah, you can't really call it a gold standard.
No, it was a roadshow. It was the weak water version of the preceding roadshow version, which succeeded the real McCoy. So nothing good has happened in this realm of business since about August 1914.
When the Federal Reserve went into business.
Well, since the gold standard, the real true McCoy gold standard.
When war broke out in Europe and Britain went off the gold standard, the classical gold standard ended. And then, of course, the failed attempt by Churchill to go back to the pre-war parity, which created a tremendous deflation and problems in 1920s Britain.
For 100 years, it's been bad news, James.
Well, it has been bad news for people who have held money and saw their purchasing power erode, or people who lived in countries where there were monetary crises. And as we all know, there have been dozens and dozens of monetary crises around the world. Are we going to face a similar monetary crisis here in the United States?
Yes, in fact, we are up against it. I think that the world over monetary arrangements are visibly coming unstuck. Indeed, they are unstuck. It's only the perception that is lagging the fact. Central banks the world over are the most preposterous, jury-rigged structures. In China, the central bank, the People's Bank, is leveraged 1,200 to 1, 1,200 units of asset, they call them renminbi, per 1 unit of capital.
That's even more than the Federal Reserve.
Yes, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, this paragon of
compared to that,
is leveraged merely 102 to 1.
Okay.